Hello everyone, welcome to SM Tech World. Today we are going to solve another leet code problem, and today's problem name is surrounded region. So it's a medium level problem, and you can see it's a pretty popular problem. Okay, so if you have not read the problem statement, you can read the problem statement right now, and then we can begin. So what they are saying here, that we will be given one board, okay, and board size will be m into n cross matrix, okay, and it will contain two characters, either it will contain capital X or capital O, and a region is captured by flipping all zeros into X, so that in that surrounded region. So what they are saying here, so suppose this is our input board, right, and we have, see, there are 4 cell with 0 value, right, or O value, right, capital O value. We need to flip those capital O's to X, but there are some condition. We can't flip the O's which are in the edge, right, that means here, here or here. So we can't flip those O's, right, but whatever in between, like here we have 4 O's, right, this O's, this O's and this O's, we can flip it to X, but we can't flip it to X, this one, because it's in the edge, right. This is the first condition. And second condition is, suppose 2 O's are connected, right, then if any O is connected with edge or edge O, then that's a connected O, right, we can't flip those. Suppose if we have O here instead of X, then we can't flip any O, because all are surrounded region. That means it's connected to a border O. Okay, so suppose instead of this X, if we put O here, then our output will remain same, because now all O's are connected with or surrounded by a border O. Okay, so these are the two conditions we need to keep in mind while designing our solution. Okay, so yeah, let's try to identify some ways that how we can do that. So the two constants are, first thing we need to identify the border row, that is the first condition. Okay, the second condition is we need to find out all the O's which are surrounded by border O or connected by a border O. Okay, so that is the second one, that we need to find the surrounded O or connected O basically, right. So here in this example we can see that we have 4 O, right, this one, this one, this one and this one, but this border O is not connected with any other O's, right. So how we can decide that whether it's connected to any other rows? So we can move in 4 direction, either left, top, right or button. So we can't move diagonally, right. So if I move to the top, then it is X, right. So as of now for this example there is no connected O, right. So we can easily ignore this one, and we can flip these 3, right, to X, X and X. Okay, so yeah, we will try to follow this exact logic or exact steps to do the same. So what we will do first, we will identify the border row, that will be our first steps. Then what we will do after that, we will identify all the connected O's with that border row. Then once we are done, so probably we will change it to some other default value like plus or minus, any other character, right, apart from X and O. Now again we will traverse, and I will see that whether is there any O left, means, so in this case it will be 3. After we change it to minus or plus some other character, right, we will check that whether any more O left with O value. Then okay, if after marking this border O with plus, there will be 3 more O's left, right, here. So we will easily flip it to X and we can return the answer. Okay, so this will be our approach, right. So first approach, identify the border O. The second is identify the surrounded O's which are connected to any border O. Now once we are done, then we will flip the middle O which are not connected with any border O, right. So using 3 steps we can easily solve it. So how we can do that? So probably we have multiple options, basically 2 options. Either we can use a DFS or you can use VFS. So if I use DFS, then we will find the connected component using recursive approach, right. Or else you can do BFS also. You can go level by level and you can identify the connected O's. Okay, so for this example we are going to use DFS today. Now let's see, let's try to write the code quickly, and as and when I required I will explain the code. Okay, so yeah, so we are going to solve it using Java, or you can use any preferred language, but today we are going to use Java. So okay, so what is the input here? Input is a board, right, basically it's a 2-dimensional character array. Okay, so at first what we can do, we can cover some edge cases, right. It's always a good practice to cover edge cases. So let us try to identify what are the edge cases in this scenario. one condition can be like if suppose our board array is null, right? That can be a possibility, right? If I see my board is null, then I can stop executing the code here, right? Because we can't do anything for null array, okay? Or else what can we do? Like you can see that my board length is 0, so it's basically a null or empty array, right? In this case, since return type is void, we can just return from here. We don't need to execute further. Do we have any other edge cases? Yes, we have. Like, let me quickly explain. So suppose I have array like this, right? Suppose I have array like this, x, then o, then x, then o, then x, then o. So what do you think? Do you need to write our logic for this kind of inputs? Means here we know, right? So it has only two column and 2 row, right? So there is no possibility of isolated O's, right, in between, because all these are a border element, right, or border cell, right? So there is no in between cells, right? So we can avoid this type of boards also, right? So let's write logic for the same. So if I see my board, so dot length is less than 3, that means if it is 0 or 1 or 2, or we can check the column also, right? Board dot length, so it should be the since we need to take the length of column, it should be board dot 0 dot length less than 3. Then also we don't need to do anything, so we can return from here. That's fine. Now what else? Now we will try to write our actual logic. So before doing that, we will take two variable like row, and it will contain the row length basically. So it should be like board dot length, then it will call the column call, it will contain the call length, so it should be board 0 dot length. Fine. Now our next step will be identify the border O, right? Identify border O. Okay, so how we can do that? So let's see. So we need to traverse it, right? So there are okay, so at first there are 4 border, right? One is this top border, the right border, down border, and the left side border. Okay, so we need to cover all these 4 sides. Okay, so at first we will try to cover the top and bottom, then we will cover left and right. Okay, so we will write for loop. So it will start from int I equals to 0, then it will run till, since we are covering top and bottom, so it will run till I less than row, then it will be I plus plus. Okay, now we will write some DFS function to check the connected O's, right? We will do that later, but where do we need to call the DFS function? Whenever I will see any border O, right? So we need to add that check here, right? So it should be board I. We need to do it for this first and last only, right? Correct. So it should be like board I0 is equals to O. That means we found one border O and we need to traverse, right? So we will define some DFS function and we will call that. We will implement the DFS function later. Okay, let's focus on the main logic first. Now we will again check for the last one also, right? So it should be, I will check if my border I and call minus 1. Okay, if it is equals to O, then again we are going to call our DFS function, correct? So yeah, we will call our DFS function. So what it will do now? So you can see it will start from 0, it will check this, it will check this, it will check this. So we will cover this side and this side using this for loop, right? Now we need to cover this side and this side also, right? For that we need to write another separate for loop. So for int j is equals to 0, j should be less than call and j plus plus. Okay, so we need to do same thing. We will check. Now we are considering this one and this one, correct? So we write logic according to that. So we will write board, fine, board. Then now I know it will be always on the top, right? So it should be 0 and it should be j, correct? If equals to capital O, then again we need to traverse. We need to call our DFS function to find the connected O, right? Now again I will check if my board. So now we need to cover the last row, right? So it should be row minus 1 and J, correct? Is equals to O. Then again we are going to call our DFS function. Okay, so DFS function will basically decide the connected O's, right? Now, okay, now what I will do, so what was our approach? Now I suppose if we consider this example, right? Now I found this O, right? Now I need to replace this O with some dummy character, any default character, right? So that later we can, whenever we will flip the value from 0 to x, we will not consider this edge or border O, right? So we will use some different character, right, apart from either x or O. Okay, so let's write the DFS function now. Okay, let's go step by step. Now our next target is find out the surrounded O's and mark them with a default value. Okay, so let's quickly define your DFS function. We can make it private, right? So since we are not calling it from outside, so it is always good practice to write it as a private helper function. Okay, let us name it as DFS. And what are the values we need? Obviously we need the board. Okay, so it should be board, and apart from that I need the row and I need column. Okay, means from where do we need to traverse? Okay, with these 4 values. Okay, so now our next target will be like this, right? To identify the rows and edge rows and connected edge rows and mark them with plus. Okay, you can use any other default value. Instead of plus you can use minus, anything. Okay, so now before doing that, marking it plus, we need to cover some edge condition, right? We should check that my row should be less than 0. If I see boundary condition basically, right? Else it will throw exception, right? Array out of bound exception, right? So we will check if I see my row is less than 0, or if I see my column is less than 0, or if I see my row is greater than equal to board.length, or else we can see if I see that my call is greater than equals to board 0.length, correct? If I see this 4 condition initially, then I can return, means we don't need to traverse, right? Else it will throw exception. Okay, so we can return from here. Or else what we will do, we will mark that particular column with some other value. Here we are going to use x plus, right? Sorry. So if I will do board row and call is equals to x, correct? Sorry, it should be plus. Let's use plus here. Okay, we are done. So okay, now what I need to do, now I need to find out all the surrounded O's, right? So we will simply call this DFS function with 4 direction basically, right? So we need to pass board, and we can call it, so we can go to that probably the next row like this. It should be row plus 1, means okay. Now it will go downwards and our J will remain same, or column will remain same. So this will be in one direction. Similarly we need to do it for other 3 direction, like it should be board, then row minus 1 and call. Now left and right is remaining, so DFS board, then okay, then row will remain same. Now we will move call minus 1, and again we will do DFS board, then row, then call plus 1. That's fine, right? Now our DFS function is complete. Okay, we missed one thing. So suppose so whenever we are running this function, right, these 2 functions, these 2 for loop, it will find this border row. Now it will call our DFS function. Now we are trying to identify all the surrounded cells where the value is O, right? So suppose I am here, I am going topward in the top direction, right, like this one, row minus 1. Then I will see it is x, right? Then I need to stop. Then I don't need to traverse all the surrounded region of this x, right? So we need to stop this. So let's add this condition in this here also, right? So or if I see my board row column is not equals to x, then we are not interested, right? We can terminate from there. If it is not equals to O, then we are not interested, right? So suppose if I find x, then it's not adjacent O, right? So we should stop. We should not go deep, right? We should not traverse deep or till end, right? So since it's x, we can stop here. We don't need to go upward direction, right, like this. So to avoid those scenarios, we added this condition, right? I think, yeah, our DFS function is complete. So let's quickly fill this DFS function. So yeah, it should be board, and here we need to pass row -1, then j, so this will be 1. Apart from that, we need to fill this also, board, then in this case it will be 0 and j, and here it will be board, then again we are passing I as row value, and call will be call -1. Now again here it will be board, then it will be obviously I, and call will be 0. Okay, so now after this, for this example, right, how it will look like? It will look like this, right? So it should be now x or plus, sorry. So we flip the value to plus, a default character, right? Now now we will try to identify the surrounded region using the DFS, right? So in this case there is no surrounded region, so this array will look like this only, but this last value will be plus and remaining will be 0. Now our next step will be identify these zeros and flip it to x, but we will not flip this plus, right? That's a simple traversal logic, right? So we need to for loop here. So let's do that. For I need to start int I equals to 0, I should be less than row, then I plus plus, and I need another for loop for int j is equals to 0, j should be less than call, and j plus plus. This is a basic for loops to traverse any two-dimensional array, right? Now I will check if my board ij is equals to plus, then this is a bordered or a surrounded O, right? We will make it O, because we need to since we change it to plus, but it should be ideally O, right? So let's do that. In the output they are expecting O, we should not change it to some other default value, right? So we are using the default value for temporary purpose. Okay, so it will be, if I see board ij is equals to plus, that is our default value, we will make it to capital O. Else if I see it is O, that means it's not a surrounded O or a bordered O, right? We can flip it to x. So we will write that here. Ij should be equals to, if I say it is O, then we will change it to x, correct? So it should be board ij should be x. Okay, I think that's pretty much. I think our code looks fine. Let us quickly run and see whether this is working. Okay, now I think it's running. So there are a couple of issues, like it should be a two-dimensional array. We declared it as one-dimensional array, and we use semicolon here. It should be column, and there is some issue in this here also. We are using a single equals. So yeah, I fixed these three things. Now it's running. Now you can see it is giving us expected answer. Now quickly submit the solution and check whether it's accepted or not for all the required inputs. Okay, yeah, you can see our solution is accepted and it is beating 99.82% of Java solution. So now let's try to see what is the time complexity here, right? So what we are doing here, we are using DFS, right? We are moving in 4 direction, but so let's try to analyze it. So let's take m as the array of length of the array or row length, and n is the column length. So here time complexity will be order of m into n. Okay, m is the length of row, o is the length, n is the length of column. Okay, so our time complexity will be m into n. That's pretty much for this video. If you still have some doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.